What's up, buddy, man? Man, we might break an all-time high on this live stream. It's gonna be crazy. Esther, I can't have you in here tonight because I'm gonna talk with somebody else on the stream. So, what's up? I'm waiting for CBO crypto. So just so you know, I'm not gonna be answering many questions, but hopefully you'll get your money's worth with CBO crypto. Course is coming in at the end of November, I think. I still need to do a lot of work on it. So hopefully CBO will be hopping in here sometime soon. Esther, can you close my door, please? What do you think mana will get to? I don't know. Higher. I own some mana. I'm a believer in it. So yeah, here we go. All right, we got rejected at 64.3. Whatever. I mean, we'll see. It's cool. I didn't expect to get to this point on this day. So no, buddy, man, do what you got to do. I'm actually thinking about canceling my Patreon. Yeah, I'm gonna go live with CBO. So I'm thinking about canceling the Patreon. Just you guys who have been sticking with me on that, it's like awesome. Thank you so much. But I'm not providing any value to you guys other than what you're getting in the live streams. So and in my videos. Lossless ideal price to enter. Nothing soon. No, of course I won't be mad at you. I might close it. I might close that before. What happened today? Just logged on. We crossed 64,000, but now, you know, we're a little under 64. VeChain 50 cents, but lossless, I would just stay away from lossless. Like, you see a green candle like that, just don't chase a green candle. I cannot accept any live streams other than CBO crypto. So, what's up? No heartbeat. Trios don't know enough. Yeah, sure. Definitely get a spot on the course. That sounds great, man. Yeah, it'll make you a lot of money. So, oh, hey, buddy, man. I also saw your question today. I would just hold on to what you have. I would hold on to what you have. Don't trade anything for anything, honestly. So, where will the next resistance form? $64,900, something like that. I think there's gonna be a pretty heavy wall there. But listen, guys. Listen. 63,000 had a huge sell wall, and we cut through that like butter. So it's one of those things. Maybe the all-time high won't have as big of a yeah, sure thing, buddy, man. Won't have as big of an issue. Please answer no heartbeat. I'm gonna look back and see what you asked. Again, I'm about to go live with CBO crypto, so I'm not going to be answering any questions. Am I breaking up? Oh, son of a... Give me 1 second. All right, I am back. I don't know what's going on with CBO crypto. Let's see. I want to see if he's long or if he's on. Parabolic signal said to go get losses. Listen, I have a hard time arguing against parabolic signals. So if he says get in on it, then I just, you know, as always, my number one rule is don't chase a green candle. Can't wait for the course. That's great, man. I'm glad there's so much excitement about it. Yeah, I think VeChain's going to hit 50 cents this bull run. Cardano, $5 in the year, $8 or so. All right, no heartbeat. Ask a question again, and I will try to answer it. But I had to change my internet connection. So, where's CBO, man? Come on. All right, I'm still gonna check to see if CVO Crypto is. All right, he's on. So I invited CVO Crypto to go live with me. There he is. What's up, man?
What's going on, buddy?
Not much. Let me turn my volume up real quick. Got to do it differently. Okay, I can hear you better now. All right,
Cool,
so
cool, man.
how you feeling?
Dude, feeling good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. You know, I'm
I was just,
what? Go ahead.
oh, I was just saying, I was just telling, I was just thinking back. I was like, the last time you and I really went live, which we did a live stream on YouTube, and it was you, myself, and Angel from Begin Crypto, and it was the day Bitcoin hit 29,000, right?
Oh,
We were all
was it?
sitting there, everybody. Yeah, it was that day, and it was
Wow.
the weekend right after everything took off, and as we were pretty much, anticipating and talking about, and a few of us just kind of thanks for the glasses, kind of had our backs to the wall, as like Angel was saying, right?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big day, man. It's pretty cool, and it'd be crazy if the all time high kicks on while the two of us are talking. But
That would be
um,
awesome. That's
yeah,
yeah, I forgot the dollar amounts that day, but I just remember all of us, we were just like we were holding the line, and I think anyone else who I think about, anyone else who's kind of in our circles, I don't know if any of them except for me, you and Angel were like, no, this thing's not going lower. It's gonna go higher from here. So I mean, I don't know what to say about, like, we deserve more credit. We deserve credit for that, but whatever. It'll come one day. Just keep grinding. Something that I wanted to mention to you, because you are more bullish than I am, which people look at me and say, like, Alex, you're crazy for how bullish you are on these prices. And then I look to you and I'm like, okay, at least you know, at least I have somebody who's more bullish than I am, so I don't feel super crazy. But one thing that I want to mention to you is that I thought we were going to break through the all-time high in early November, and we have 12 days left in the month, and now it's at the point where I'm like, I think I'd be surprised if we didn't break that all-time high now.
yeah,
Which to me gives more credence to the idea that Bitcoin would hit $250,000, like what you're saying, versus my $200,000 Bitcoin prediction. So what are you thinking about right now?
yeah, man. So I've been doing live streams like every day,
Yeah.
10 a.m. Eastern on YouTube and on here too. So this is a backup account for anybody that's asking. I think
Yeah.
Joshua Jake is in here. How you doing, buddy? My main account was banned at 80,000 followers, whatever, and permanently banned. And I got them to reinstate it. And anyways, so that's why I have this backup account for the people asking that. So but we've been looking at essentially this run up to 100. The next major target to me is 87 or 107,000, right?
All right.
For two technical reasons, and I compare quite often, and I think you do as well at this point. It's kind of clear to see that these last cycles have been very. It's not obviously dollar for dollar, percent for percent, but it's very, very similar, right? Like I
Yeah.
originally had this idea that okay, we could be going into 2022. When we were a
Yep.
year and a half out, like that was my outlook. Like, okay, maybe this could be an extending cycle, blah, blah, blah. Well, in May, when we broke through the 21 weekly, I had to scrap that idea. And ever since then, it's just been spot on, spot on, spot on, like all across the
Exactly.
way.
Exactly. Me
And,
too.
and that's what the difference has been. And right, even from that day that we were talking last on YouTube, when it was $29,000 Bitcoin, the day that it bounced right there, there's a spot on the chart that we reference quite often. I think we were talking about that day too. And it was it's the 1.272, right, from on a Fibonacci
Mm-hmm.
extension target, right? And so far the last two cycles have bounced at that exact level, and 148 days later for both the previous two cycles, 2013, 2017, 148 days later the market is topped, and each time Bitcoin has rallied 6 to 10x, right, which obviously is not going to happen 6 to 10x this time. It's progressively getting diminishing returns to some aspect. But that target is it's 250K, right, coming
Yeah.
up. So in the interim, I was looking pretty much just looking at the previous cycle, because I remember back to it, right? Like I remember September, I remember October, I remember all that time frame so vividly. It was not like it is now, man. We weren't looking at charts. We weren't looking.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really knew what was going on, and nobody had a top in mind, right? Like the only time I ever heard about a top was around $10,000. Everybody was
Yeah.
thinking that we'd see a pretty big correction and this and that, and 10,000 would probably be where we stopped, and that's the only thing I can even think back to. That I can't even search for anybody talking about I search a lot of news catalysts, right? Anything that, like last month when we saw the debt ceiling and all that stuff coming in, and everybody's worried about the stock market. Anytime I see anything, China FUD, Tether FUD, anything, I literally Google September China FUD 2017, and literally the same article pops up every single time. Same thing happened back in May, blah blah blah. So what I meant by that is I just think back to like there's nothing like we see now with any on-chain analytics or anything like that back then, and everybody, it was just running up. But what had happened was that we basically had that September sell-off, and then we just rallied straight up, past the all-time high. We had two small 10-15% pullbacks just to the daily EMA, which at this point is like 55,000, 58. I don't even think we'll see it anytime soon. I think we will actually punch through the all-time high and not get a decent 10-15% pullback till like 70-75K, right? Maybe even more than that. And that could be like, this month still, because I do think that Plan B's prediction will come through. And I think that what we'll see over the next few weeks is we'll punch up to 70-75, and then a 15% pullback puts us back around 63. And I think that everybody's mind will be blown because of last month, right? How he nailed 43K. And I think this month is supposed to be 63K, right, for the end of the month. Yep. So what happens in between, could be, we could go to 100 and back down to 63, and then everybody would be like, oh, it's on, right? So I think that's kind of how it'll play out. And then for next month, for me, it's 100K coming in, 100, 107, 120, whatever that ends up being. And then we get a substantial pullback. And at this point, I think everybody's going to be very confused and very shaken out, thinking that that's the top of the market. I did a Twitter poll yesterday, just with I don't have a ton of followers, but it was like to see where everybody thought we'd top out. Because to me, I'm seeing a lot of people talk about 200K coming in, and it's a little bit more adopted at this point. So I thought maybe everybody was thinking that, but it's clear that I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of people are anticipating $100,000 as the top. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on all this.
I mean, it's hard for people to comprehend the idea that you can see the last 4 weekly candles have been massive and we're moving in the right direction. But for 200K, even just 200K, that's more than a 3x from here. I can understand why people would be like, especially people who are new to this, that it's like, how in the world could you expect Bitcoin, especially since it's never been over $64,000 or over the all-time high from May, that it would all of a sudden enter into this uncharted territory and go up to, not just $100,000, because $100,000 Bitcoin just sounds out of this world, but 200K, I understand. It's like, okay, looking at 2013, looking at 2017, seeing how from July, from that bottom day that we talked about, where I forgot that was the day that we went to 29K, from that day, hitting that exact point. I remember, so 2013, that day was July 9th. 2017, that day was July 15th. 2021, it was July 20th. And we hit that bottom. And so, ever since then, we've matched it stride for stride. August was good. September was flat. October, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, I went on my honeymoon in September, and from 3 tweets, I, could call the entire month on how it was going to react. You know what I mean? From the $4,000 high on Ethereum being the top, I got a lot of slack for that, but it's like, man, you could literally just look left right now, and it's, the beginning of the year was a little different. We rallied up a lot harder, a lot faster, and then came down a lot harder and a lot faster and a lot earlier than previously. We saw usually, you get a summer sell-off. Well, we started correcting from 65K back in like April, right? Yeah. So that was the big difference. I think that's been, anything so far. So it's.
So, I mean, the big difference was just, there's certain lines that we just got, this is a Benjamin Cohen thing, but early on this year, there were certain resistances or levels of support that we just got too far gone from. I think his big thing was the 200-day simple moving average. I think that's a lot of people's big thing. And if you look at where we were in comparison to the 200-day simple moving average earlier this year, we weren't holding that as support. We were just shooting so much higher than that any move back down to that level was going to introduce a level of fear into the market that would send it down even further. And I think that's what happened. We got too far gone. And so we had to experience this mini bear market and experience all those naysayers saying that it was over, you know, and that we were going to have to wait until the 2024 halving, all that nonsense. And so it's one of those things that I'm going to be paying attention to in 2024 and 2025 is like, do we have a 2017 run where we just ride that line all the way up until the peak? Or are we going to have another one of these things where it's like people know that it's coming? And I think that was the problem earlier this year. People just knew that it was coming, so they put money in, and we just shoot too high too soon, and we have to have that correction. I think we have a blueprint for what a future bull run would look like between the 2013, 2021 bull runs and the 2017 bull run. It's like it's probably going to be one of those, depending on, you know, what do you think on that?
No, I agree, man. And like
Yeah.
I get this question a lot. Dude, we're at like $64,300 right now, by the way, $200 away, man. And at some point, if you're cool with it, I'll go through a few charts at the end of this. But
Absolutely,
this is funny. I got this one set up where it's just like we break that all-time high, baby. It's just moon mission, right? That's that's the last level right there.
Yeah.
I'll go through some stuff later, but yeah. The next cycles and all that, you know, like, so that's the biggest thing to me, man, because like I came in 2017, I got in at the beginning of the year, I got Litecoin at $3, $30. I wasn't trading anything back then. Like I was just holding, and it worked out so well for me right through 2017. I got, you know, XRP, and I got like Tron, and I got Verge, and I got, you know, ETN, and all the things right back then, all the equivalent to like the Solanas and the V chains and all that stuff that we see today. And like I said, man, at the end of it, like it was, you didn't have any idea of this cycle. So we didn't hear about Bitcoin halvings. You didn't, and once again, you didn't have the on-chain analysis. You didn't have all that stuff. And you just thought that, oh, this is an emerging asset class, and this is where, you know, the future is, and digital money. And, you know, you already have digital money, your debit card. You don't have cash. You just send digital money. This is the new version. It's going to be taken over, whatever. So everybody bought into it, obviously, like, and back then, in December, man, when everything topped out, there was no talk of a top. It was all, yeah, it's just going to double next month. Oh, 50% pullback. That's just crypto, you know, just keep holding, you know, whatever. And man, I got wrecked, right? Like I made life-changing money unrealized because I never cashed out because I was holding, because you had no idea. And then I watched it all just melt away for years, man. And so with that, I dove deep into how this stuff works, how the cycles work, how this market, you know, ebbs and flows. And that is just it. And even right now, so people come in and, you know, it's almost like you could be jealous of somebody just now walking into crypto because you have the biggest gaining opportunity ahead of you. You didn't just have to go through a September sell-off and the May sell-off and all the BS and all this for months. And you're just literally going to be able to come in and throw a dart and make money. But if you don't have a plan on taking, you know, profits and all that down here in a few weeks and months, it's going to come against you. And that's what most people come into saying, you know, I don't have any Bitcoin right now. I don't hold any Bitcoin right now. I'm doing a few leverage trades, but I'm fully in alts. But the goal for me would be to accumulate more Bitcoin, right? That's the main goal. I don't think people understand that. And the goal for that would be, at this point, it's a 5-year plan. I'm going to rally up all these altcoins to the end of this. I'm going to ride through this bear market, and you come back in and you buy the bear market lows at $50,000 Bitcoin next year, or 40,000, wherever we land after 200, 250, or wherever we top at. You're going to have an 80% pullback. The goal is to come in and buy up the bear market low at Bitcoin, which you could argue, okay, that's just the same price as it is now, or the same price as it was. But if you were to take $60,000 right now and hold Bitcoin, you'd only have $60,000 or also one Bitcoin next year. If you take $60,000 and you rolled that into 30, 40, 50x altcoins, held the cash, come back down, buy the bear market lows, and then the next bear market high, the bull market high for Bitcoin is upwards of $2 million of Bitcoin, and that puts it at 2025. So that's the main goal, in my opinion, right? Like, and there's many reasons I have that go into that idea. But like you just said, it's like a blueprint that, you know, you could almost kind of go with this for the next 4 years. But even with that said, like 4 years from now, you and me are going to be sitting here doing the same thing, and people will still come out and be like, nah, we're going to, you know, you'll have the May crash, and it'll be the same stuff over and over again, where it's like, now we're going to come down, we're going to drop to 20K, you know, the 20K, all that. There's so many people that went through this, you know, 4 years ago, and they don't, I don't feel like they remember it, you know, correctly. So I agree that I think that the 4 year, and it's all because of the 4 year cycle with every 210,000 blocks, man, we get a huge supply shock that hits this market. And the last Bitcoin, I think you're the one that put this out there saying, what do you think Bitcoin is going to be valued at when it takes 40 years to mine it at the very end? What is that going to be valued at?
It's not going to be measured in dollars. That's all I know.
Right.
So it's like there's two things I know. It's not going to be measured in dollars. I mean, all right, do I know this? I'm not going to ever say guaranteed anything, but one, it's not going to be measured in dollars, and two, it will be worth it. So those two things. So how in the world? It boggles my mind. I'm not going to be here to see any of that stuff. But what's it going to look like? Yeah, I mean, maybe there'll be technology. I'm just assuming that I'm not going to be here. What's that going to look like over the last 40 years? Why? How in the world are people or businesses or nation state? By then, it's probably going to be nation states doing this stuff, and everyone else is going to be squeezed out. What's that going to look like for them to have an incentive to mine fractions of a Bitcoin? That I don't know, but I mean, I'm just confident that's going to be worth it. So,
Right.
Aside from like, let's say there's a what do you want to call it? I mean, Bitcoin is a disruptor for fiat currency. Maybe there will be some kind of a Bitcoin disruptor. I'm open to that possibility. And I know that, in the comment sections of our live streams, people are going to be like this and that and that, whatever. Whatever. It's like, I think Bitcoin is going to exist in 2140 and it's going to be worth it to mine it. So I'll stick with that. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the thing that, so I'm an active trader, right? And I don't say that to just I trade crypto, whatever. I've managed to make that more of my strategy over the years after what I went through in 2017, right? I kind of went with more of the whatever. So that just works better for me. And I do have like this next 3 month stretch is probably going to be the longest I'm going to be holding something for X amount of time. Right. And it's still basically a trade to me, right? So, yeah. But with that being said, too, it's like this market is, to me, once just going through what I just went through last cycle, so to speak, it opened my eyes to the point where like I do believe in the technology and the companies at hand and what they're going to do and all this and all that. But I also do believe that this is such a brand new emerging, like just completely exponential market class where we just shoot straight up and we shoot straight down and exponentially, right? So and that this market just goes from undervalued to fair value to overvalued and back to the beginning, right? And that's just kind of how it goes. And we're in the beginning stages, and just like you said, it's going to shake people out for years to come until eventually, you're 100. I mean, most people are already priced out of Bitcoin, right? We're never going to see a $10,000 Bitcoin or below, probably ever again. And $60,000 is, most people cannot just whip that out, man. And with that being said, it's like, the fundamental, the market itself, I guess I was getting on the idea of how it goes over in the next, short term is that, I fully anticipate that, we're going to have a huge crash in January, and everybody gets, the number one thing that everybody comes into ideas is that, well, why, if ETH 2.0 is on, now, like, won't that be different? Or if there's staking, won't that be different? Or if there's this, won't it be different? And blah, 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 the ETFs. To me, I think the ETF is going to be what takes us down, just like the CME futures did. Maybe not this first one, but if Grayscale, the thing with I was going into with the ETFs earlier was that if this one actually takes off, we break all-time highs and everything goes bullish from this, which is what I anticipated more than anything, and I think you did as well. Very similar to when ETH got upgraded, and then everybody thought it was a sell the news event, and obviously we just pumped straight through. If this goes well, and we got new ETFs getting announced the next couple months, everybody's going to get very excited on the next one because they're going to think back and be like, well, when the first one got launched, we went from 60 to 80K. And when the second one, now we're going to go from 250K to $500,000 for sure, and blah, blah, blah. So, and if Grayscale comes out as the one to do that everybody's going to think that's very, bullish and whatever. I think that would actually be, because they're doing a totally different one as well. I think that would be where they come in with the massive amount of leverage and short the market down. And just to me, man, it's just the market is just so new. The fundamentals are all there and everything, but the fundamentals don't ever change, right? Ethereum had no fundamental reason why it should have crashed 90% in 2017, 18. I'm sorry, 2018, right? As it came down. So it's just important, I guess, to kind of look at that too in the aspect of things, because I know everybody gets really excited. Everybody's going to start making a lot of money here soon, and just in reality, it's kind of a really big. Got to have a plan, I guess, around everything, unless you're going to be planning on holding stuff for 5 years down the road. But
Yeah.
That's just kind of my take on that.
So we're on the same page, and I want people listening to understand as far as what we think is going to happen. And so November, I think we're both agreed, right, that everyone's asking about alts. They watch my videos, they see Bitcoin pumping, they go to a website like coin360.com where you can see a heat map of all the cryptocurrencies, and like, what in the world is going on, man? You know, what about these alts, and when are the alts going to pump? And I think that we both agree on November, sometime middle of November. Would you agree with that, right? That's your estimate?
Yeah, I'm going to show you this right now, actually.
All right, go
so
for
this
it.
is like this is probably the best way to view this. So everybody knows that Ethereum is the lead altcoin, right? When Ethereum breaks out, that's obviously when the rest of the market breaks out as well. Ethereum alone eats a ton of Bitcoin dominance, so I mean that immediately just shoots the dominance down quite a bit. Let's see here. So I'm just setting it up around this huge iPad I have in front of me. But yeah, it's just that time, man, right? Like it's still Bitcoin season, so to speak, where Bitcoin rallies, gets and it's not a bad thing, right? Bitcoin drags all the new money into the market. Everybody, it's just like Doge and Shiba, right? Like you could have lossless pump 300%, and the average person doesn't even know about that. Only people that are in crypto. But if Dogecoin was to pump 200, 300% tomorrow, your grandma would be texting you about how to get in, right?
Yeah.
That's just where we are with that. So Bitcoin pumping, it's only gone up 50% in the last, since the 40K run up, right? And then, if we run up to 100K, obviously we break the all-time high and we run up to 100K, all those good things, that's going to really incite the most amount of FOMO into the market. And all right, I'm going to show you this real quick. This is a perfect example of what you can expect, but also why you shouldn't like just straight up dump out of your altcoin positions and get Bitcoin only, because it's not cut and dry like everybody thinks, where it's like, oh, Bitcoin only runs and you could just, you just sell out at Bitcoin's top and then, whatever, because we see that that's not the case already, as a lot of these smaller caps are running. So I'm going to show you this right here. This is a 2017 Bitcoin and Ethereum chart. And essentially whatever Ethereum is doing, you can imagine that the altcoins as a whole run with it. So this, right, is two charts. You got the top one is 2017 Bitcoin. This is the top of December. Down here is Ethereum. This was a summer high. This was the September high. And then when I move my cursor down here on Ethereum, you see the correlating lines up here with Bitcoin, right? So this whole move that we're in right now, it's known as Bitcoin season, right? Is pretty much this area right here, all right? So as Bitcoin's rallying, which you could already see, Bitcoin is $64,000 today, from 57 to 64,000 right now. Ethereum stayed at $3,800, right? It's not moving. So look at Ethereum right here. We run as Bitcoin price is increasing up top. So this is basically the equivalent of where we're at 40K and we're running. Ethereum goes sideways, goes sideways, goes sideways. We have one little pump, which is pretty much where we're at right now, in my opinion. I think we're running up to like 38, 39, gets everybody excited, thinking Ethereum is going to break out, but I don't think it will. And then we'll get this pullback with one of these pullbacks on Bitcoin, right? 15% small pullbacks up here, two small pullbacks, and then a pretty big one. And this area right here is the equivalent to where I think we'll see 100K. But in the meantime, this is even day for day right now, right? This is this day, we're the 19th of October today. So this is the 17th of October back in 2017. So scroll across. Now right here, Bitcoin actually tops around where I'm assuming we'll see about $100,000 Bitcoin. Look at ETH, still doing nothing. So that means for the most part, all coins are going to go sideways or bleed. And then essentially we get a pretty big pullback where Bitcoin comes down. Ethereum did not. This is a 30% pullback up here. So from this spot on, this is basically where Bitcoin profits basically transition into Ethereum and altcoins. And at this point, everything launches together. Ethereum makes a brand new all-time high, comes back down, retests it, and then we just completely melt up, right, for Ethereum. And this day we broke out right here was indeed, actually this the day we broke the range was right here. It was the 14th of November. So yes, like 1st of November, middle of November. That would be when I would imagine that all the altcoins are going to go. But that's not so cut and dry. And like perfect example is some of those other altcoins we just seen that have been running already. Last week we had a short term, time frame where DOT rallied 20-30%. I'm gonna flip this back around. Jeez. And things of that nature. So I would say that it's just a time to be pretty patient, and it's 2 weeks. It's because even though Ethereum, to me, I don't foresee it outperforming Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin's gonna, from 40K to 250. Technically, Bitcoin to me is going to outperform Ethereum the whole way up. I know that's something that a lot of people disagree with, but I only see Ethereum topping out around $10,000 to $13,000. And maybe that's wrong, but around that time frame, I'd be happy to start, be scaled out of most of my positions because we're not going to nail the top. We all know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's definitely November, and I know that it's a little frustrating to sit back and watch Bitcoin and all this, but to me, Bitcoin, even if it goes up to let me show you that real quick, if that's okay. I'll show you the targets that I'm looking at for Bitcoin. So I'll get out of this. So that's just the idea with Bitcoin right there. And then once again, like looking at this area, and I'll even just I threw this over on my live stream today. I just took this entire time frame. So this is where we equivalently bottomed at 40K, right? And I'm just going to throw this on the current chart for Bitcoin. Maybe. And we toss that up right here, and technically, and what's so crazy is that I didn't even move this, right? So you already know that my target for Bitcoin topping is 250,000. This fractal alone literally just comes in, and it's not to scale by any means, but it comes in at 250, which is very interesting to see. But this would be something that I would imagine we see out of Bitcoin over the next few weeks, right? So by this point, this is the November. This actually even throws it over on November 17th. So from right here, we're going to run. You see these 2 small pullbacks, and at this point, if we see it, I'm not saying it's going to be dollar for dollar and look exactly like this, but this would say, let's get up to $75,000, and you have a pullback to the all-time high, 65K, right? And then from there, you rally up a little bit more. You have one last pullback, and then this actually puts us right at $107,000. This peak right here, which would be around the middle of November, right around Thanksgiving. Yeah. And then this would be, if you see something similar, this would be a 30% pullback. So once again, if we're at $105,000, it's going to be a $30,000 Bitcoin. The percentage won't be important at that point. People are going to see $30,000 coming out of Bitcoin, right? That's more than where we were the last time you and I talked, right? For the entire Bitcoin price action. From here, this is going to be, a few days long. This is not going to be like a quick, dip like we're used to again. And we're going to see the whole market rallying up. I think when we see these 2 small pullbacks in Bitcoin, the altcoins are going to do very well around this. And that's the thing where everybody gets confused is, it's not like it's only Bitcoin running up and then right here the altcoins start running up. The altcoins will still do pretty well right here. They'll just 10x right here, right? So that's what I would imagine for that. And then literally this dip right here is this is the transition from all the profits from Bitcoin into altcoins. And from here to here, it's just a solid full-on assault on all altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Everything is going to launch from there until January, basically.
All right. Sounds good. And then, so the other thing that, I'm pretty much in complete agreement with you on that. And I've been telling people middle of November, just wait till the middle of November. And I've taken your cues from that because I've seen that analysis before, and it makes a ton of sense. Yeah, people are going to take profits out of Bitcoin, and we're going to see a drop in Bitcoin, and they're going to put it into other cryptos, Ethereum and alts like that. And so the other thing that people have been asking me that I have to just be real with them is that, how big of a drop do we see at the end of the bull run? And, because people people want a super cycle. They don't want, they just, want up forever. Not everyone. I mean, I'm really excited about the bear market. I cannot wait to load up on specific coins that I'm targeting in the bear market. But I think I've seen you say specifically that you think it's going to be just as bad or almost as bad as the starting in 2018 throughout the coming years. So you did allude to that a little bit already with the CME future stuff, but could you elaborate
Yeah,
on
no,
that more?
I fully anticipate. If we top at 250, we're going to drop 80 to 90% across the board once again. That's going to take Ethereum from 13,000 back down to 2,000. You're going to see, essentially the prices that we're at today for a lot of these projects, and lower obviously for some other ones. But and the thing is, like what you just said, right, is kind of important. Like everybody wants a super cycle and this and that. And the thing, I was on Debate Crypto a couple nights ago, and it was like, unfortunately, like this market does not owe us nothing, right? And
Yeah.
like, we're the retail investors, and we're the people that come in. We make up the quick liquidity, but realistically, the big whales, the big people, the major players in this, and it's not just all major institutions. I mean, there's people that you don't even hear about that are buying up, the bear market lows and this and that. And this is the one thing that I've taken away from this market after analyzing it for the last 3 or 4 years, and after what happened to me in 2017. And it goes back to this simple idea. It goes from undervalued to fair valued to overvalued. And the reason of this overvalued position right here, these blow off tops, is because the ones that patiently buy 3 years ago, $90 ETH, $3,000 Bitcoin, 1 penny Cardano, so on and so forth. The projects that are today, people are now just coming in and finding out what Cardano even is, or the name of Cardano at 300x. And it'll go higher. Like we'll get some more gains out of it. But for these guys to dump their bag, to unload, to offload, they have to have major liquidity coming in. They have to have big buyers coming, like amount of buyers. And that's unfortunately what we are as the retail investor, the most part, right? So that's exactly what happened to me and everybody else in 2017.
Yeah.
That ended up, we became professional bear market bag holders, because you get fluffed up with all the hype, the news, the media. Look around us right now. You can already tell the writings on the wall that super cycle, Plan B's extension of the market by 4 to 6 months or whatever. And once again, if think about that ETF idea, because it's just an idea. This ETF launches, we make all-time highs. Okay, the next one launches, we make all-time highs. Blah 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 blah. The fifth one comes in. It's 4 of them have been great. The fifth one is what takes us down. Plan B, snipe, target after target after target. So why wouldn't his last prediction that the market would be a super cycle not, because I totally agree with his. I can see it perfectly that 63,000 would be this month's bottom. We can go up to 70 or 80, come back down to 63 in October, November, go up to 107, bottom back, pull back to 30 or whatever, and then actually come in and finish the month at 98 or whatever he put up, right? And then December is 135. So what's perfect about that is that, to me, I'm looking at a $250,000 Bitcoin, but in the previous histories, at the top, there is an immediate 50% drawback. So if you're going to sit and have a $137,000 or $135,000 Bitcoin, what would it have to be to get to that level at the top? It'd be 270, right? So that's right in the range of where I'm looking at for the market to top at, and for the end of the month to be at 135, which also Ethereum is projected, for me, I have it to project to top at 10% of Bitcoin once again. So that's why I also have a $13,000 projection, because I'm expecting Bitcoin to be 135,000 after it pulls back.
Yeah.
When all the altcoins top, Bitcoin would be 135,000. So now think about that from the perspective of everybody in this market and all the new people that have just, they're not even going to have enough time to physically look around and research and figure out what's going on. Like there's not time. Like there's no way. They're just going to sit there and see that this guy's been calling it, nailing it. They already been in the, they're going to be in the market now for a month or two, because everybody's going to really funnel in after this all-time high breaks probably today. And you're going to be seeing gains all over the place. And what are they going to do? Plan B has been nailing it. He says it's going to go 4 more months, and you know what I'm saying? Like that's just what that's just what I see. And then you got all celebrities, everybody's like favorite influencers, Tom Brady, all this pushing NFTs. Like it's this, it's a huge. I just feel like thinking back to, it's all about the major players that are basically gearing up to dump their bags on the people, and then basically you wash out all these people over the next 2 years. Bear market comes in, everybody leaves its space, they reaccumulate it all back up again, and we run it again. And we see $2 million Bitcoin down the road 5 years from now. Everybody left it because they dumped it at 90% loss. And once again, like you just said, you get priced out, and you look back 20 years and like, man, I had Bitcoin, or I had loss lists at 30 cents and blah blah blah. So
like everyone 10 years ago was saying, they had their 10,000 Bitcoin that they sold for $2,000 and bought a used Ford Taurus, and now they're crying, and they're, you know, they probably don't even own the Ford Taurus anymore. So yeah, the same thing's going to happen 10 years from now, which is why I prefer to have more of a long-term holding mentality, at least with some cryptos. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I get a lot of pressure from people who's telling me, like, why are you not going to sell at the top with your Bitcoin? I mean, I'm going to sell a large majority of my crypto. It's just, a principle of mine is that I have to hold on for something. Just what if I'm wrong? What if you're wrong about something? What if it's like a 99% chance? I would just rather hold something, you know.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So
Well, especially if
yeah,
you've been holding for more than 4 years, you're up anyways. You can't miss at
yeah,
that point. Even
yeah,
if what I'm saying right now is Bitcoin alone, if we top at 250, an 89% pullback drops us to where we are right now, right? Like roughly
yeah,
$10,000 difference, 20% difference. So if you don't buy Bitcoin from this position forward right now, you will never be at a loss in that sense. You might miss out on unrealized possible profits that you didn't take, but 5 years down the road, when Bitcoin's 5 million or whatever, 2 million or 10 million down the road, 10 years, 20 years from now, or like you said, we're going to get to a point where we're not going to measure these things in dollars. There's no way. Like we're
yeah,
going to, that's another conversation, I'm sure. But,
yep, yep,
but it'll, you know, there's going to be a time when you're going to desire to own one full Bitcoin, because there's only 21 million that will ever be in existence. X amount are already lost or
yeah,
stolen or whatever. And that's not even enough to give every millionaire in this world one Bitcoin
yep.
if they would buy one. So, I mean, it's an interesting take.
Yeah. So all right. So something I'm curious about. I've been thinking about my bear market buying strategy. For Bitcoin, for me, it's pretty simple with Bitcoin. It's never breached the 200-week moving average, as far as I think it's either a weekly or monthly close. I don't remember. So if I ever see it below the 200-week moving average, which I could see the 200-week moving average rising to, it's under $20,000 right now, but a year from now being like $50,000, wherever it is, whenever Bitcoin goes under that, it's like that's when I'm loading up. And that's going to be the first thing I've been telling people about a year. It's going to take about a year. I'm not buying any crypto in 2022, pretty much. And you know, my guess would be about a year, December, it would get down to its bear market bottom. That is what happened in 2018 from the 2017 peak, that it got down to the bear market bottom in 2018 at around $3,000. And then after that, it just depends on the altcoin based on past history. A lot of them you could just buy in 2024 and be perfectly fine. But I'm thinking through, and people are, you know, I told people I'm going to make a course about a bear market buying guide. I'm curious to know your thoughts as to what you're loading up on. For me, I'm going to be buying a lot of Solana. I'm going to be buying a lot of Quant. I'm certainly going to be loading up on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm going to put a decent amount to Doge, believe it or not, and actually maybe even Shiba Inu, because what happens with those is that they just flatline. You know, well, Doge at least. You know, we don't know for Shiba Inu, but Doge just flatlined, and it was like for 3 years, Doge was just flat. And I think the same thing's going to happen this time. It's an easy one to get into, and then ride it up to whatever $2-3 next time around, maybe even higher than that. So. Your thoughts?
So I'm going to flip this around one more time, right?
Okay.
So just to kind of show what you were saying with everybody, how, you know, the bull run ends, and then basically, you know, a year later we bottom, right? So this is 2013's bull run right here, right? You topped out right there in December, and then you bottomed out right here in January 1 year later. So December 14, and then you got, or was that 14? 13.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah, so the December right there, and then you got this. Technically, that would be December, I guess, of 14, but it's January. So that's 1 year, right, top to top. Also note that the top comes in December. 2017, top comes in December. Bottom comes in December 1 year later. So same deal, right? We're expecting a top in December of 2021, a bottom in December of 2022. So along the way, though, so this is where, you know, once again, I'm a little different because I go with more of the trading outlook here. So this whole period right here is one of the most volatile things that we'll still have coming our way, right? With all the altcoins, especially until about right there. So this is like 8 months, the August, September time. So 8 or 9 months of just sheer up and down You know, this is just Bitcoin's price action. So you can imagine what the alts look like during this time period. Some of the altcoins actually made new all-time highs during this, you know, bear market right here. Some of the newer projects like EOS and all that stuff back in the day. But you'll get these massive drawdowns, right? That's a 40% pullback right here. And then you get this, you know, almost equally as long run up right there. And then same thing in here, right? You're going to see like this massive 100% move right here. And that's in like April. Oh no, that's January. Wow, that's actually right in the beginning. So you'll have plenty of time because these bounces right here. This is a 70% pullback, by the way, 1 month after Bitcoin tops. So this is something that everybody needs to be prepared for because this is very dangerous. If you're buying in at these top levels, you're going to lose your shirt right then and there. 70% pullback in the first month. But during this, you got these bounces right here. So if we see 100% move out of Bitcoin, this is 200, 300, 400, 500% moves out of the altcoins still. So it's a little tricky and confusing as people think that, you know, we don't just go straight down, you know, in a straight line and all the altcoins. It really doesn't get to until about this portion right here. This is when everybody's like really just full on bleeding for the time period. And this is also a time period where Bitcoin only moves about $100 a day. It's about 2-month time frame. You know, I remember this pretty vividly.
That was miserable.
It was miserable, and there's nothing you can do. Even if you're a great leverage trader, there's nothing you can do right here. Also, you know, then we came into the idea where, you know, this was like this huge descending triangle, whatever, that we were going to break out from, and then obviously we actually did break to the downside, which was even worse for most people, right? So, and then like you said, this comes in right at that moving average on the monthly, on the daily as well. Nope, it's probably is more so on the weekly or the monthly. Anyways, and that's a moving target, right? Like this, the bottom area at the time will be, you know, right now that it's probably like 50K for us now, and then as the time and price action kind of go forward, you'll see it coming down. So it's going to be something you'll want to pay attention to like every day around that time frame. But for me, buying up things, I will probably be actively trading a lot of things down the road right here, and then once again, the main goal for me would be to accumulate Bitcoin and Ethereum right here, right? And then possibly, like Solana, you know, a couple of those might be a good one too. I think that at the moment, I'd wait to just see how things progress with everything to these time frames. But that would be my initial bear market idea would be, you know, basically capture as much as you can in the altcoins as we blow off right here. And then, you know, a small position in just like shorts and certain trades along the way, along these bounces, right? Because you're not going to nail this perfectly either. It's not just cut and dry. Be like, oh, you know, just wait for a 70% pullback and you ride it up. It's not that simple. And then basically when we get to these lows, like you just said, this is a time where this right here shakes out everybody. If you weren't shaken out right now, you definitely don't pay attention to it anymore. And then you definitely will sell out right here because that's an even longer period of time where we just kind of bounced around in this area. So, as far as like what I'd be buying, I don't really know yet, right? So it would probably be, it's definitely going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then from there, as far as holding goes, Solana, it would probably be a good contestant at the time. You know, like at the time looking back now, you know, Cardano was probably one of the best pickups during this bull bear market. And you might not have really thought about that in the beginning part of that. So, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting time either way.
Yeah, man. I got to respond to a comment here. Someone saying it's kind of crazy to use 2017 as an exact blueprint, and it's like I've faced that objection so many times. And all right, so that was 2018 that you were looking at. It's like, yes, it's not going to be exactly like that, but what's you know, looking at retracement levels, I mean, there's certain things that will happen. I'm certain, I'm pretty convinced that we'll bounce up to like a 702 retracement level. Sorry, I just dropped something. From after bottoming out, that first dive after the peak, that will go up to a 702. That'll put it at what? I mean, if it were to top out at 250, that'll put it at something. I can't figure it out in my head, but like one upper ones, right? And that's a great opportunity to rise, and then it's going to get rejected there or around that area and go back down again, you know, and then just like keep bouncing. There's going to be opportunities and to do things that I normally wouldn't do because I tend to just want to buy and hold. You know, from the beginning of the start of the, what I think is the start of the bull run to the peak, and then sell a bunch of it, and then just be done. But you know, looking into trading, I will be looking into trading this time around, and I will be looking at buying. You know, I said this on my live stream earlier today, and some people flipped out. I said I'm going to be buying some puts on some Bitcoin correlated stocks when I think we get to that peak. You know, if I see Bitcoin over $200,000, I'm going to buy some Marathon puts, some Riot blockchain puts, some other ones, things like that, and make maybe you know as much money on the way down as I made. Probably not as much money on the way down as I made on the
Yeah,
way up, but like
it's tough, and it's honestly looking, but like when I look back to what I went through in the bear market and like that
yeah,
person's valid, right? I'm not saying that I'm looking at this and it's going to be a blueprint, but it's going to be similar price action. It's not going to be dollar for dollar, not going to be percent for percent. Maybe it doesn't last as long. I do anticipate the longevity. Actually, I do think it'll go from December to December. What happens in between obviously can be different, but you know, with once again having the idea of like for me and for most people, like, most people aren't going to have this 5-year plan, but I've also now been in this for a few years, and I do see that is the most uh, outperforming, you know, price or the most performing way to do this is this if you like buy up the bear market and wait to basically sell it in the bull run, right? So
sure,
most people aren't going to have the patience for that. Also, most people aren't going to even realize that's even something coming up down the pipeline, right? So so what you're doing is perfect, and what you've done, and in that sense. And then when you get to a trading aspect, that's only just like something to pass the time, basically, you know, because you got your holds for whatever a couple years down the road, and then you got, you know, if it's 20% of your portfolio that you're going to actively like do swing trades on spot, and then you take whatever 5% and do leverage, which you prepare to lose, but
yeah,
um, it's nothing wrong with that, and there's going to be so many opportunities in that time frame. You know, this is like looking at the stock market 100 years ago, right? This is not going anywhere. This is going to be here the rest of our lives.
mm-hmm.
Um, and the generational wealth is truly going to be made right in its beginning stages, right? You're talking like, man, 100x gainers on actual, not just little micro caps, right? Like
Yeah,
Solana, 200x in the last 9 months.
yeah,
Cardano, 300x.
yep,
Phantom is up like almost 10,000 or whatever. It's up like, you know, 500x from that low of 1 year ago, right? Like that's massive. And but it's only as massive as if you actually do it right, because otherwise people come in and they lose that. Most people also did not buy Phantom at 0.0009 cents last year, you know,
sure,
in the 2020 dip and all that. So that's the thing that comes in is a lot of people come in just to make the quick buck. They lose, they walk away, they come back and buy higher, and that's just unfortunate. But you know, that's just what it is until you kind of learn how this all works. Um, yeah, that was kind of a tangent. I'm sorry. I feel like I might have got off there.
it's all good.
uh,
You
but
want
yeah, no, I
to?
anticipate a 80% crash, man.
All right.
100%. I don't think DeFi is going to change anything. I don't think ETH 2.0 is going to change anything. To me, all these things that are different this time with all these assets are it's just what is needed to elevate the price action to the
Yeah.
dude, what's the difference between $1,000 Ethereum 4 or 5 years ago to a $13,000 Ethereum? Well, it has to be something better that makes it valued at that, right? Same thing with, you know, Bitcoin or whatever. I make the reference to Apple all the time, right? Like Apple had the iPhone, and then, you know, to get to where they are now, they had to introduce the iPad, and they had to introduce all this stuff like. That doesn't save them from just automatically, like, you know, not having pullbacks in their you know, valuations and stuff like that. So yeah, I fully imagine we're going to see this big correction after the top.
Man, yeah, and even ETH 2.0. I mean, I've been hyping up ETH 2.0 like crazy, and I just read that they may be delaying it now till July of 2022 or something like that. And I'm like, I mean, I expected a delay. I did not expect a delay that late. And so, and then I'm even wondering, like, is that going to happen? I mean, moving from proof of work to proof of stake, that's not a light endeavor. And so it could be one of these things that this is all new in my brain, but like, that might not happen. And that would suck. I mean, it wouldn't, it's like supply on exchanges is decreasing very rapidly, but like I had so much hope for ETH 2.0 that it was going to cause this massive supply shock that we had never seen before, and now it's like we might not even be talking about that being a thing. So,
Right.
man,
Well,
yeah, I'm
well,
pretty
what's
bummed about
interesting
that.
too is that that ETH fractal that I've been looking at since the last few weeks. Once again, the way I could easily on vacation look at the chart on ETH and be like, this is literally going to happen again. It trends sideways right till November, and most people can't now. They probably understand it, but before at 45K Bitcoin, 47, whatever. It was like, nah, Ethereum, there's no chance, Bitcoin's going to run to 100K and Ethereum's going to be sitting at 3,500 still, or this or that. So, once again, we just rallied like almost $10,000 in Bitcoin again. And Ethereum is still just hovering right at $3,800. So $3,800 right now. So that's literally where it's been for the last $10,000 of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, the fundamentals, man. Like I said, I don't get too wrapped up in them. I think it's exciting, and obviously down the road, these products like Ethereum obviously has real fundamentals. Like Ethereum is going to be around. Like they have things for it, but it's like those fundamentals are not going to sit. Like the price, it's not correlated in my opinion, right? During the bull run, obviously it's easy to make everything sound great and give the price run ups to a certain news catalyst. But in the bear market, man, there's probably more. Like Ethereum created, the DeFi platform. Everything like came out from 2018 and 19 came out while Ethereum lost 90% value. You know what I mean? So it's like there's so many good news catalysts, and the same thing with like a lot of the top projects, like I call it the X factor because I can't say the X word. I get banned for it a lot. But the one company that's $1 right now, right? That's pretty stationary at $1. They had the most amount of partnerships, bullish catalyst after bullish catalyst after bullish catalyst. It did nothing for the price, right? It just kind of is what it is, and it just goes into this cycle that I look at right here. And if you got time, man, I know that we're probably coming up. I know you got like kids and stuff to take care of. Can I go over real quick because I just want to. I know I've shown this quite often to my viewers and everything. But I just want to kind of give an overview real quick, be like 2 minutes of like the reason that I target 200 to 250K Bitcoin, and also why I target $2 million Bitcoin in 2025, right? So just going off this sheer idea of the 4-year cycle, right? So here we go. Daily time frame, you can do this, any time. The previous top, which there's no data for it here, but it's $32 for Bitcoin, right? And if you come over and you take a fib retracement, come up at $32. So this is the first bull run for Bitcoin, right? This is.
Can't see it very well. You might need to move over a little bit.
All right, let me see here.
All right.
I'm on the wrong chart anyway, so. All right, there we go. So this white line is the previous high. It just doesn't have the data for it, right? So it's $32. You can Google that and see. It was like 2009 or whatever it was, 2010. Anyways, if you draw a fib over this, right? So this is the 2013 top, right? So here in this setting, you pull it from the previous high to the bottom, all right? And you come up to this setting up here, and you flip this into log scale, right? And this gives you this right here. So right here at the top, 2.272 comes in right at the top of the market. We get this 1618 as a major target, and we get the bounce right here at the 1272 in July, right? It's the July bounce. 148 days later, we top, right? Which is in the middle of December. So that's the first cycle, right? Boom. And we went over this together, on that one live stream back in basically July time. So now you go from the same deal, right? And you pull the 2013 high to the 2014 low, whatever, and you drag that one across. And at the time, like, if you're in the middle of this bull run, like right here, this would just be empty space ahead of you. But look at where the 272 comes in. Once again, top of the market, right? 1.618 is the target. You get this bounce right here at the 1.272, and that's in July. And then 150 days later, you get the top, right? So now for the current, and just also to put this into perspective, is that everybody's going to ask me about diminishing returns is the next one. So this first one was about 50,000%, right? And then you got 12,000%. Okay. So now with the projection, we're going to take the all-time high. So you can see that all-time high, all-time low, scroll it across. Top 272 comes in right at about $200,000. Each one of the previous two highs actually had about a 20% blow off top. So that's why I target about 250, 270, whatever. You never know when that's going to come in. I'm going to move all this around a little bit. I'll zoom this in a bit so you can see right here is the 1.272 where we bounced from in July, as basically programmed at this point. 150 days later is December 17th. That top comes in right at about 200 to 250K. That would give us a bear market low to high of about 8,000%, right? So you're still getting diminishing returns, all that. It just sounds crazy because it's a higher dollar amount. You go from 12,000 to 8,000, right? So that's where I come in with this target, right, for 250,000. And then if we come down from there, 80%, right? Let's just give it a fun thought experiment here. So 83%, right? Puts us back at like 42K. The top would be here, the bottom would be here from 42K. So obviously we'll have the whole market structure in this at this point, but that's what gives us the target of $2 to $2.6 million for the 2025 Bitcoin price action, which once again diminishing returns is going to be the number one question, and that's going to be we go from 8,000% gains to 6,000% gains. So even at a $2 million price tag, we'd still see less percentage gains than we did from 3,000 to 250,000.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was not thinking $2 million. I mean, I didn't do that kind of technical analysis on it. I was thinking more like $1 million, but I mean, you make a good case.
That doesn't come in. I mean, that's years down the road, but it's still, it's just whatever. Like I said, that's the 5-year plan I have right now, right? Is like I'm gonna accumulate, like the goal really, and then what that's gonna mean for Ethereum, is Bitcoin's rallying whatever 90x if it goes from 3,000 to 250. Ethereum rallies 150. If Ethereum rallies 90x, in the next run from 2K, it's gonna be a $200,000 Ethereum. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. It's just it's mind blowing on the returns that all these are gonna offer for investors and whatever. But you gotta be willing to buy them bear market lows, man.
Oh yeah. Yep. And then just I read a comment. I'm not even gonna address it. So I don't even know what I was gonna say.
Now. I gotta hear it now.
No, I have your live stream up on my computer to better view things. Because it's like it's hard with my old man eyes, whatever you want to call it, and think positive to receive says that I look lost. It's like, okay, you know what? I don't know what to say to that, but I've been on point. You've been on point. We've both been on point. So, and I'm tracking with you just fine. So anyway,
nah, dude, yeah, it's and that's the thing. We're gonna be wrong. We're not gonna nail this market perfectly either. I mean, this market is meant to shake everybody out every step of the way. Bull market, bear market, so I mean, obviously we'd be some trillionaires if we could nail this market day for day. I would just leverage straight Bitcoin every second if I could call it. But we're just a couple guys along for the ride with you all, just putting out our ideas, right? So, nah, man. Been a pretty impressive few months, man. And like I said, it's crazy. Last time we spoke was literally it was a totally different world back at $29,000 Bitcoin in June or July, whenever that was. So it's exciting to see how things have turned and see where we're heading now. So,
yeah, and it was us against the world. And hey, for July of 2025, it'll be us against the world again because everyone's going to be like, all right, Bitcoin's going to $50,000 or something, and we'll be like, nope, it's going to 2 million, going to $1 million, whatever. So
we'll be relaxing in July for sure.
I'll
just let the Pablos have it, and we'll just come in and scoop up the lows, I guess. But it'll be fun, man. Meg BZK's in here.
Hey,
hoping we're not wrong about Triaz. Triaz looks good. A lot of these small caps too, and that's another thing I wanted to touch on with the alts, right? Is that when we were looking at the alts as a whole, like the blue chip main large caps, like these altcoins, they move in waves and phases too, right? And you do have that whole like little list where it was like Bitcoin moves and then Ethereum and then large caps and then small caps, and once again, it's not so cut and dry like that. And right now, it's a big thing on Bitcoin's taking up all the dominance right now, so you can load up the dominance so that in December it can just hit the floor as altcoins really rally. But you got to think that the large caps eat up dominance like nothing, right? Like Ethereum is like half of Bitcoin's market cap, pretty much, right? Or big portion of it. At $4,000, I think it's like 400 billion, right? So it's a big portion. Chainlink, all these other ones, you start coming in, chipping away at like 10, 20, $30 billion market caps, they take those down. So right now the small caps are really doing well because that's where the traders go to, because it's easy to flip a $9 million market cap, 100%, because it takes nothing. So there will be a time when those stop moving for short period, like in next month in November. They won't stop moving in total, but there'll be a bigger focus on the large caps, and then that's where you see the Ethereum and the Litecoin and the chain links and all that kind of moving a little bit heavier, and then basically those profits move back into the small caps and so on and so on. So
all right, man. Man, this is a blast. We've been talking about doing this for weeks now, and so a lot of people on my live stream have been asking for it, and so finally we can do it. So we should do it more. I don't know what's up, with your. Is this when we go live? Are you going to use your backup account, your main account? What's just your backup
no,
one?
I should. My main account gets. I'm able to use it again tomorrow, basically.
Okay.
So I don't know if it'll get banned again. I don't know if like the marks are there and like one more red flag gets me banned again. So if it gets banned, I'll just go on here. But I mean, we should definitely make I don't know if you can make a regular thing out of it. It's a little hard to do that, but we could jump on like once a week, a little TA Tuesday or something.
That's what I was thinking. Once a week sounds good. So
cool, man. Well, yeah, I had a blast talking with you, man. Always a good time. You've been killing it. Everybody, please go follow Worldwide Bitcoin if you're not already. I'm sure you already are. He puts out some great outlooks and experience, and definitely more of a holder mentality, which is at the end of the day that really is the one that wins, right? So so it's definitely a good guy to follow, and he's been crushing it. Like he went toe to toe with Pablo back in the day. He's just been stuck to his guns, and
I love Pablo. He's my son. I love him.
I got nothing against nobody. That's the thing. Like I've been wrong too, and like whatever. Yeah. So that was just a big one the conviction with that one on him. I think he I don't know. He probably went too much on that, but aside from that, he does good analysis too, man. He's been. I sometimes get nervous when the two of us have the same idea, because right when I was talking about that 49K, drop down to the 30s, he came out with the same thing the next day, and I was like, ooh. But no, he does a good job, and I think it humbled him a bit to kind of see the influence he had on others, and that's one thing that is very important, is to try to realize that you could say all day, like, do your own research, not financial advice, but if you got hundreds of thousands of people watching you got to know that you are influencing them to basically hold on to your every word, especially when you are right more than most, so they'll fall into that. So
all right, cool, man.
Cool. Well, take it easy. Thank you, everybody. Always a pleasure. Have a great day, night, morning, wherever you are, and we'll see you again next time.
All right, see you, man.
See ya.
Man, that was awesome. I love that dude. He's killing it. So follow CVO Crypto, follow both of his accounts. So yeah, that was good. Most people on here will be overweight before New Year's. That's right. Going to gain a lot of weight. Guys, I'm not going to be on much longer. I already did a live stream earlier today, and that was another hour of live streaming. I see Parabolic Signals was wrong about the recent pullback, but he's a baller, so I'm not worried about that. Thank you. Yeah, much love to you all. Garden of Evil. For those of you who are on this live stream right now, follow me on TikTok. You've got to see my content. It's just, I've been right a lot lately, and it's all because of past performance. I'm basing everything on past performance. And I've gained a lot of confidence just basing it on past performance and trusting the past, that would inform the present. So thank you all. Love you all. Yeah, almost 600 people. Be nervous when you see 1,000 people on here. If it happens, like if you see 1,000 people on this live stream, then it just depends on when. If you see 1,000 people on this in December, game over. Be careful with buying any new crypto. So as far as is there a usual time for my lives? I wish there was. I have too much stuff going on in my life. I have 5 kids. I'm actively involved in my church, and I do stuff. I volunteer for them, and I wish that I could be more regular, but I can't. So, thank you all. A graph of my live views. Yeah, in the summer, it was 100. It was about 100. So it is definitely heating up. All right.